Okay, it's been about 2 months, so YouTube Rewind is definitely an irrelevant topic. No one's gonna complain that I'm just jumping on the bandwagon for views, so let's do this. Hey guys, it's Bonds. Welcome back to another one of my amazing wacky misadventures. And for those of you who don't really know, the 2017 YouTube Rewind has gotten a lot of flack from creators in the community. And if you follow me on Twitter, which I mean if you're not, you probably should, it's like the pinnacle of online entertainment, you know that I'm not really agreeing with all the hate that's been receiving. I made a video a while back when it was still relevant about people rushing out a bunch of rants on YouTube Rewind, which is kind of ironic since it's a washed out rants on YouTube Rewind. But besides that, my point still stands. All these people rushing out YouTube Rewind rants hours after the original was uploaded is just sad, and it just shows how desperate they are to jump on bandwagons for views. I talked about it more in detail in the video, but it's just sad to see the creators that I actually respected go this low. There have been some points against YouTube Rewind that I do agree with, like the clean and marketableness of the final product, but some of the points against YouTube Rewind are just so stupid. And just to be clear, I'm going to be talking about the 2017 YouTube Rewind, the 2016 Rewind as actual points against it, against why it could be good. But the 2017 Rewind isn't horrible. It isn't the worst thing that anyone has ever seen. And I can definitely tell you that it isn't bad enough to warrant a spot on the list of most disliked YouTube videos. In my original video, I didn't really go into depth about specific points against YouTube Rewind, so that's why I'm making this video, just to go over a couple examples on why the points against YouTube Rewind are really just hyperbole and not good examples of criticism against it. So without further ado, let's do that. One of the most prevalent points against YouTube Rewind is that there are people that these commentators don't recognize, which I can agree with, because there are people that I don't recognize in this. But that isn't a point against it at all. Just because you don't recognize someone doesn't mean that they're a horrible person that doesn't deserve to be in YouTube Rewind. You know that you're not in every demographic, right? Not every YouTuber is a young teenage boy or a young teenage girl or a 60-year-old fat person. There are different demographics, and we're not in all of them, so there are people that you won't recognize. You're just gonna have to accept that, because YouTube isn't gonna cater to all of your needs. Another thing that's kind of similar to this point is that there are people like Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Fallon, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, the Despacito guy. First off, with the Despacito guy, he used to be a YouTuber, so... But for the other people that people complain about, like The Rock, Stephen Colbert, one of the other Jimmys, I don't know, you have to agree that those people make impacts on YouTube. They're on trending every day. I know that trending doesn't really matter at this point, but they do make it on trending every day. Even on trending pages that aren't manually created, they make it on trending a lot of times. And they get a lot of views, and they make YouTube a lot of money, so it's justifiable. I can agree that they don't really deserve to be on there. All the late night talk shows probably shouldn't be in YouTube Rewind because they aren't really YouTubers, so I can agree with you guys on that one. It is a justifiable reason why they are in YouTube Rewind, but I can agree that they probably shouldn't be on there. With people like The Rock, however, you do remember that time when The Rock made a YouTube channel, like a side project YouTube channel. He doesn't just upload clips from his show because he doesn't have a show. He uploads original content that is for YouTube. So he is technically still a YouTuber, so he does technically count to be in YouTube Rewind.
I hate all of you.
Another amazing point that I think that people really seem to agree with for some reason is that there are people that the commentators don't like Jake Paul, Lele Pons, all those types of people. But you do have to agree that those people have made an impact on YouTube. Even though you don't like their content, you have to agree that they have made some sort of impact on YouTube. And and they are YouTubers, so they do fit the criteria of making it onto YouTube Rewind. And I'm gonna say it again, YouTube isn't gonna cater to all your needs. Just because you don't like the person doesn't mean that there are millions of other people that do like said person. I personally hate Jake and Logan Paul because of what they've did before and after YouTube Rewind, but I can still accept the fact that there are millions of small toddlers that do like these people, and they think that they do deserve to be in YouTube Rewind, which they do because they are YouTubers that make impacts. Probably not impacts that anyone likes, but they are impacts nonetheless. They have millions of subscribers for a reason. Just because you don't like someone doesn't mean that other people do, and doesn't mean that YouTube does. Even though YouTube doesn't really like the polls right now, they did when it was released, and you have to admit, they have made an impact, and they do have a fan base. So they aren't completely useless in YouTube Rewind. Another one of the really stupid points that there are like dead memes and memes that people don't like. This kind of fits into the people that I don't like. I mentioned earlier. I have to repeat myself. Just because you don't like something doesn't mean it doesn't deserve to be in YouTube Rewind. Just because fidget spinners were this big annoying craze that were just made for cheap views, that doesn't mean that it was still a craze in this year that deserves to be in YouTube Rewind, because it did make an impact on YouTube. And just because there's a song that was overplayed, like Despacito in Shape of You or whatever, that doesn't mean that they don't deserve to be in YouTube Rewind. They are things that were popular in the year. That's the point of YouTube Rewind, is to celebrate things that were popular in the year. I see all these people making these points that are just so stupid because they don't understand the basic premise of YouTube Rewind. It celebrates things that were popular in the year, and Jake Paul and Logan Paul were popular in the year. Fidget spinners were popular in the year. Despacito was popular in the year. You should know this. I don't see anyone complaining that Gangnam Style was in the 2012 one, even though that was an overplayed song. Why is Despacito or Fidget Spinners any different? And all the people that are complaining about dead memes in YouTube Rewind, yes, there are things from the beginning of the year that aren't relevant anymore, but that doesn't mean that they weren't from this year. People were complaining that Shooting Stars was in YouTube Rewind, even though it was a popular trend in 2017. It is the dumbest point that I have ever heard. Shooting Stars is a trend in 2017 on YouTube and basically on the internet, so it counts. You need to know the basic criteria for things in YouTube Rewind to complain about it. And with All-Star, I can agree that it isn't just a 2017 thing. It's been around since the beginning of time, but you have to agree that All-Star did make a big impact this year. All-Star was bigger than it ever was in 2017, so it still does count as something that would be in YouTube Rewind. It deserves to be in YouTube Rewind because it makes impacts. It makes impacts to the entire general audience of YouTube. Also, speaking of things that deserve to be in YouTube Rewind, people were complaining that people in the commentary community were not in this year's YouTube Rewind. People like iDubbbz or H3H3 or Keemstar. YouTube isn't making this video for you. YouTube isn't making these videos for commentary videos. YouTube isn't making this video for any demographic. It's making it for everyone that uses YouTube, aka the general public. Or as you hip youngsters like to call them, normies. Just saying that word makes me hate myself. And you have to agree that the commentary community isn't the biggest demographic on YouTube. Arguably, like, people like Let's Players and vlogs are the biggest thing, and that's why all the Let's Players and the vlogging channels are in YouTube Rewind. We are a very small portion of YouTube. There are millions of other demographics and other genres of video that probably deserve to be in YouTube Rewind more. Just because you don't like this person, and just because you like this person, doesn't mean that that person deserves to be in YouTube Rewind, and that person doesn't. The general public doesn't care about iDubbbz or H3H3 or literally everyone in the commentary community. Yes, they have made impacts, but not impacts big enough like outside the commentary circle. Like, you don't see makeup channels talking about the Yscum content or anything. You don't hear Let's Players making videos about how great H3H3's video was. No, you hear them doing what they're supposed to do because they're in their own little bubble. The demographics stay in their little bubble. And just because you're in one doesn't mean that all of the other ones don't exist. For the most part, most of these points are just because I don't like this thing, or because I don't like YouTube and what YouTube has done to me. I shouldn't like everything that YouTube makes, which is just a completely horrible point. Just because you don't like YouTube's practices, and just because you don't like some of the people in YouTube Rewind, doesn't mean that they don't deserve to make this thing or be in this thing. Just because YouTube did a thing that you don't like doesn't mean that you have to hate everything YouTube does. I have to think of a good analogy, and this is the best one that I could think of. Just because you like the show House of Cards, that doesn't mean that you support everything that Kevin Spacey has done. That's a good analogy, I guess, maybe. Just because you hate a thing that they did, or multiple things that they've did, that doesn't mean that you have to hate everything they do. If they make something and it's good, you can like it without supporting everything that they've done. Just because you don't like something doesn't mean that it doesn't deserve to be in YouTube Rewind, and just because you don't like YouTube doesn't mean you have to hate on YouTube Rewind. You can like things, it's not difficult, and just because you hate a thing doesn't mean you can't like a thing that the thing made. All of these points are just so stupid. I can agree with some points, like the fact that it's clean and marketable, basically an advertisement for YouTube, but all of these stupid points, it just makes the commentary community look much more close-minded than it actually is. Basically what I'm trying to say is, these points are stupid. I just explained why these points are stupid. So I guess I'm done here. See you all in the next video. Be sure to subscribe, hopefully. And goodbye.